There's a reality to this concept of friends that many of us miss. It's easy to be surrounded by people, even the Disney characters like Jake Paul and Logan Paul and these world famous people. They find themselves in the same conundrum that you do, that I do, that we all do, because the term friends, even in the show Friends, and even in Toy Story, you have a friend in me. Even then, we have this question of what is a true friend. The people that we allow close to us in our life, the ones that influence our decisions, the ones that give input to our own choices. When we make a decision, does a good friend say, wow, that was a really bad idea, or I'm going to stand behind you no matter what the outcome of that is? That's a different level of friend. In fact, Bishop T.D. Jakes says that you have comrades and you have constituents and then you have confidants. And comrades, they just care about who your enemies are. They're willing to fight with you against the enemy, but only because they have the same enemy as you, not because they believe in you. Couldn't care less about your talents, your destiny, your future. None of that. They just have a common enemy with you, so they're willing to fight alongside you. That's a comrade. A constituent, and this is according to Bishop Jakes, a constituent is the one who says, I am for what you are for. I'm not necessarily for you, I'm just for what you are for. So the ideas that you espouse, the future that you promote, the ideas that I can come alongside and participate in because they benefit me, that I want to support. But he also says the reality with constituents is that they support what you support. They don't support you. Which means the minute someone comes along that supports that same idea better, or another idea that's more important, because they're not for you to begin with, they're going to follow the idea and not follow you. You see that in social media a lot, when people jump on the bandwagon of whatever notion is out there, whether it's the concept of racial profiling or search and stop and frisk, or it's the idea of the racial tension that's going on in the country, or it's the best new software package or the best new shiny object. People don't follow the creator of, they follow the notion or the idea. And the minute that idea runs dry or it doesn't have as much popularity in the masses, they move to another idea, they move to another more popular notion to follow. That's a constituent. Your confidants are the ones that when you say something stupid, they kind of elbow you and go, you don't want to say that. Or when you have an idea that you want to run with and you present it to someone in public and they say, that's probably not a good idea, or you know what, I'm behind you 100%, even if the idea fails, even if no one else in the public gets on board with it, I support you enough to support you through this. See, when Jesus fed the 5,000, he fed the 5,000 and shortly thereafter sent them away to their homes. He had been teaching them all day. He fed them. The sun went down. They went to their homes. The disciples went across the lake because they couldn't find Jesus. He went off to be by himself. Now, in that same story, there's a fascinating aspect that while the disciples were in the boat out on the lake, Jesus walked across the water in the middle of a storm and met with his disciples, went on across the shore. But it actually says that when he got in the boat, immediately they arrived at shore. That's kind of the way you want to do business. That's the kind of friend you want to have, that when they step in the boat, everything changes. When they come through the storm with you, everything changes. All of your destiny, all of your challenges, all of your obstacles are over because this friend is on your side. And they're not just there for the idea. They're there for you. When Jesus got in the boat with his disciples, it was about the disciples. It was about doing his Father's mission, and these were his friends. These were the ones, in his own words, that the Father has given me, and I will not lose them except the one that I'm supposed to. But the next step of that same progression is that the next morning, when all the people realized that Jesus and the disciples weren't on that side of the lake, they made their own way over to the other side of the lake. They found Jesus, they found the disciples. They're like, hey, when did you come over here? How did you get here? They weren't concerned about him. They were concerned about where was their miracle source going. And after a few minutes of conversation, one of the guys yelled out, and he's like, who is this guy that you're following around? I mean, he's nothing. He's from a little town. His father's a carpenter. His mother was a young woman that, got herself in trouble. Why would you be following this guy around? In that instant, with that little bit of input, all of these 5,000 friends, these fans, these followers, turned their back. He said, look, if you want to be a part of me, eat my bread, eat my flesh, drink my blood. And I went, no, dude, seriously. I mean, we just came for fish sandwiches. They were constituents. They liked the idea that he was promoting these new ways of thinking, these new philosophies. They were very important to them. But the most important thing to the crowd was the fact that he gave stuff away to them. They didn't want him. They weren't even completely sold out to his ideas. They were fascinated with him, but they loved the free stuff. And the free stuff was good until it came with a commitment. When he said, you've got to eat my flesh and drink my blood, they went, oh, dude, I'm out. And they all started to turn away. And that's when Jesus turned to the 12 and he said, what about you? Where are you going to go? Are you going to leave me as well? And the reply came, but where would we go? No one has the words of life like you. And these guys at that moment were sold out to the cause. I think there were still some constituent nature in the disciples in the moment that he asked that question. Well, how do I know? Because the guy who answered that question later denied him in front of friends. Yep. When his life was on the line, he still wasn't completely sold out to his friend. He was sold out to the ideas. Where would we go? You have the words of life. He was still a constituent at that point. It was after the death and the resurrection, after Jesus was making breakfast on the shore, that Peter re-encountered the risen Christ in a whole new way. And that's when he became sold out. And you know what happened after he became sold out? When the Holy Spirit fell? He wasn't just a fan of the man's teaching. He wasn't even just a fan of the man. He was a friend who would go to death for the ideas that he espoused. And when the Holy Spirit fell, Peter was the first one to lead 3,000 people to Christ in a day. See, whether you're talking about your business or your family or your faith, your comrades are the ones that are going to carry on your vision. They're going to carry on your cause long after you're gone, because they are not just doing it for you, and they're not just doing it for the cause. It's an intertwined responsibility. It's an intertwined commitment. They're not the people who are going to drag you down because your opinion seems to be volatile. They're not going to be the ones who are going to laugh at the way you're dressed or the things that you say because you're a little bit different or a little bit odd. Your confidants are the ones that you can trust to stand beside you to the very end. And I wonder, how many of your friends are like that? How many of them, when you share your testimony and the world gets to know who you really are, what you've really been through, what God has really done in your life, are going to stand beside you and go, wow, I never knew that, but I still believe in you. I still believe in the gifts God's placed in you. I still believe in the destiny God's called you to, and I want to be a part of it. Surround yourself with that kind of people. Now, they're going to be fewer. There'll be a whole lot more constituents and maybe even more comrades, but confidants, few and far between. You need to surround yourself with people that will carry on your vision, your story, your testimony, and the fruits of your life long after you're gone, because it's so intertwined with their own. A cord of two strands is not easily broken. Finding those people who share your vision, who share your heart, who share your destiny is absolutely crucial. So let me ask again, are those the people you call friends? Or do you call them friends because you like each other on Facebook? You call them friends because they're a fan of your page or they bought your book? Call them friends when they're willing to go to the cross for you. Call them friends when they're willing to stand up for your ideas, for what you believe in, for the destiny you're called to. And you'll find your life a lot stronger with those people immediately around you. I'm J Loren Norris, and you've been watching Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day.